Oh, for a little hike. For some reason, our cat, is just meowing and meowing. You can hear the creek running down there. You know, just out here thinking, praying, got a workout in. It's early spring, so snow is melting. I'm up on top of this little knob in North Idaho. And I just want to tell you guys something. That we have traveled throughout the West. I mean the Western United States. And as we've traveled throughout the United States, or the West anyway, I've come to realize, I thought there was a place. I thought there was a place in my mind where there was true freedom. We're told America is the land of the free. And then you find yourself in a state where there's not much freedom. So you think, I'm going to move. I'm going to take my family somewhere where that's free, right? Somewhere that I can live life the way I want on my terms. I was looking for a place that had a longer growing season, but didn't have humidity. A place that didn't have mosquitoes. A place that wasn't as cold, where you could grow things throughout the year. And I realized quickly that there's always a trade-off. You can get one of those things, but it's compromised by another. You can get the warmer weather, but it's either met with dry desert or hot, sweltering humidity. Or you take away mosquitoes and you add, dry, like desert type climates. Or you take and you try and go somewhere warm and you get lots of mosquitoes or snakes or ticks or you name it. It's just there's always a trade-off. And if you go north, you get away from all the humidity and ticks and mosquitoes, especially in Northwest. But then you run into short growing seasons, and you don't. There's always a trade-off. So, in this life, I'm like walking this property, which I'm super thankful. We don't own it; we're just renting. But I find myself contemplating. I'm like, I looked for that perfect place and realized, even coming here, although we love it, that place doesn't exist. We're still bombarded with high taxes. We are still paying through the nose for good food. Chemtrails are being sprayed on us daily. If not daily, it's at least most of the days of the week. So then the soil is getting compromised, with all these chemicals. The snow, you can't eat the snow anymore. You can't drink surface water. It's just the chemicals that you just can't get away from it. And that seems to be the dilemma that I thought would be remedied by coming out here. Idaho is the free state, the land of freedom. It is, I guess, if you're rich. If you come here with millions of dollars or family property. But if you come here and start over, like we did in our 40s, it's not paradise, let me tell you. In fact, it's quite oppressive. Trying to find a place to live. If someone has a rental that's affordable and they put it on Facebook, there's a list of 40 people in line asking about it. And then you can only get accepted if you have first and last month's deposit. So you're looking at many, many thousands of dollars just to rent something, just to get your foot in the door. Oh yeah, and then you have to have a great credit score. And, which means you have to be part of the system. Which means you don't pay cash for things and you have to be in debt. Or at least use credit cards, which we haven't for years. But with that being said, Is there a good place? I don't know. I haven't been outside this country. I've only experienced America and only about half of the states, specifically west of the Mississippi. So I don't know. I think I just heard a deer. Yep, there's a deer over there blowing. So, see, that's the cool thing about here. There's wildlife, right? Anyway, my phone's about to die. But, now I find myself fascinated with other countries. Because we're sold this lie that all these other countries are evil. They're our enemies. Oh no. Don't go there. They're the big bad wolf. I am starting to understand that everything we're told is the opposite. So if we're told Russia's bad, Russia's freaking paradise. Or any other country. Because I have firsthand accounts of people I know personally that have ventured into Russia and say it's the best. I shouldn't say the best. They love it. The people are great. It's clean, financially sound. People respect one another. There's two genders, all that kind of stuff. So, I don't know, guys. How many times do you pick up and leave your life and move around to find that perfect place? I don't think you can in the end. I think God places us where we're supposed to be. He gives us a desire in our heart, and we follow that, and we end up where we end up. But I know we have choices too. So we can choose to stay and remain, or we can choose to venture out. And the perspective you get venturing out is something that is invaluable. Like, you can't, even just within the States, even within the US, there's different ways of doing things, from the north to the south, to the east to the west. And they're all right. One thing isn't wrong. I grew up in small town Minnesota. People did things a certain way. Or did things a certain way. I quickly found out that people do that same thing in a different way, and it works well in other areas. And so, to think a certain people group or a certain person has it all figured out, the moment you think you know everything is the moment you realize you don't. The older I get, the more I realize the less I know. And I'm okay with that. Actually, it's kind of freeing that I don't know everything. I'm not even close. I'm not anybody special. I'm just a guy trying to raise a family, trying to make a go of life in this culture and in this country that makes it more and more difficult. I remember when my mom and dad each had a job and we lived pretty well, I don't remember ever having to worry about having food or anything like that. And now, if each spouse isn't working plus a couple side hustles, you're not making it. And specifically a regular job, you can't just have a regular job and go to work and go home anymore. You got to have social media presence and all this clout and all this stuff. And I don't know about it. It's fun, but at the same time, it's taxing and exhausting. Like, look around me. The forest, is a place where we're supposed to hang out and be a part of. We're created from the dust of the earth. This moss, these trees, the dust of the earth, the dirt in the ground right here. That's what we were made from. And we're going to return to that someday. So, do you want to return to the dust of the earth not knowing anything about the dust of the earth, and all you know is a computer keyboard, or a screen, or a gaming system? Or do you want to know the one who made you from this dust? I'd pick the latter myself. I just wanted to share that with you guys as I'm contemplating walking on this moss-covered rock, and staring out into the wilderness. What are you going to do today? What is your purpose today? Mine is going to be going to work. And I don't mind work at all. I actually enjoy it. When I'm not staying involved in something, I find myself floundering. So I'm glad to go to work. But that's not all life is about. Money. It's not about status and clout and money. It's not about having millions of dollars. But honestly, millions of dollars is required if you want to own anything anymore. And I'm sure some people are going to come on here and say, no, Adam, you're wrong. I bought my house for X amount of money and blah, blah, blah. Well, okay. But times are different now. And it depends on where you are. And it depends on how much money you make. And we don't have the same story as everyone else. We started all the way over in our 40s like we were 18. Literally, think about graduating high school and the amount of money you have when you graduate, which is zero. That's what we did in our 40s. Yes, it was by choice. But I have a deep appreciation for those who are, graduating high school right now and venturing out into this world. It's a vastly different landscape than when I was a young man. We bought our first house when I was 20 for $89,900. And at that time, I just had a regular job. I wasn't making much money. And they approved me for that loan. Now that same house is probably $400,000. But the wages have not gone up. Not that much. The wages haven't quadrupled or 5x'd, but the properties have. So this isn't a downer. There's hope. We can still do things. But this place isn't what I thought it was. I guess that's my point. My dream and what I thought specifically Idaho was, or whatever the country is, or the hopes, dreams, goals, all that stuff, it all boils down to money unless God intervenes and he provides a way where there is no way, which he does and has done a lot in Scripture, which he can do today too, and he does. He does perform miracles all the time. But this place we live, is it the greatest place on earth? I don't believe so. It's hard for me to even say that. I want to believe it is, but I just can't honestly say that with a straight face. It's just not. I don't know where it is. Maybe there isn't one. There might be better. Anyway, there's no perfect place, but in our hearts we have to be content. We have to live with contentment, with thanksgiving, and with hope. Because hope deferred will make the heart sick. A friend of mine shared that verse with me about a year ago, and it's resonated because we had all these hopes and dreams, and a lot of them have been squelched. And so anyway, I still have hope, still have joy, I still laugh, still smile. Sometimes it's a lot less than I'd like, but it's not, we still get to, here's the thing, even with all this adversity or all these hardships, there is still hope because we're breathing. Right now I'm talking to you on this thing and I'm breathing. I got the breath of life in my lungs that the Lord breathed into me when I was born, and I still am breathing that same breath. And if you're breathing, you have something to be thankful for. And I know that's kind of cliche, but think about it. You get another opportunity today. Today is another opportunity to walk out your faith or your dream or your hope, or maybe it's just the mundane today. Maybe you have to do Groundhog's Day today and do the same thing you've done every day. At least you get to do it. You get an opportunity to live. What if you never got that opportunity to even live or breathe? Not to get morbid, but it's a blessing. All right, guys, I'm going to stop for today. I'll share more later.